Hi everyone and welcome back to Wilde Reads. My name is Dave. Welcome back to another book haul. Now, you will notice that I haven't put part 1 or part 2 on this. I'm not going to make any promises that this is going to be the only book haul this month. I seem to remember doing that last month and coming unstuck. I thought I was only going to make one book haul last month because I wasn't so much in a book buying ban, but I was trying to take it easy a bit, but that didn't work out so well. So this is, at the moment, this is the only book haul this month, but who knows? I could be back later in the month with another one. So I've got a bit of a mixture, as usual, again today. So a mixture of second-hand new books and some proof copies as well from lovely publishers. So we're going to go through some proof copies first. Now, I've been sent these books. Now, Thursday in the UK, or in fact all over the world, is Roald Dahl Day. Now, I never know how to pronounce that properly. Roald Dahl. Anyway, it's the great man himself. Roald Dahl is, of course, internationally famous for having written some of the best ever children's literature. But it's surprising how many people don't know that he was also the writer of slightly darker, or in some cases very much darker tales for adult readers. Now, the lovely people at Penguin invited me to take part in the Roald Dahl book tour, and it's my turn on Thursday. So this video is coming to you on a Wednesday. It's my turn on Thursday, where there will be another video going up in the morning talking about Roald Dahl and talking about these books in particular. So there's 8 books in the series, and Penguin have very kindly sent me 4 of them, and they are Innocence, War, Fear and Trickery. Now, I've already started reading one of these. So the one I'm reading at the moment is Innocence, and this is featuring the famous autobiographical stories telling of Roald Dahl's boyhood and youth, as well as 4 further tales of innocence betrayed. And in the other books, these are really, really lovely books, and there's some more in the series as well. There's Lust, Madness, Cruelty and Deception. So there's 8 books in the series altogether. Fear is a collection of 14 classic spine-chilling stories chosen by Roald Dahl, so he's edited this one. Then this one, War, is featuring the famous autobiographical stories from Roald Dahl's time as a fighter pilot in the Second World War, as well as 7 other tales of conflict and strife. And Trickery, it's 10 tales of dark and twisted trickery. Roald Dahl reveals that we are at our smartest and most cunning when we set out to deceive others. So thank you very much for Penguin for sending me those. They are lovely books. I am going to collect the rest in the series as well, because I love a bit of Roald Dahl, and there's a little bit more Roald Dahl coming up later in this video. On to another proof copy. This I've already read, because sometimes when a book drops onto the doormat and you read the blurb and you read the press release, it sometimes seems so good that I didn't want to put it on my TBR pile. I just wanted to get to it straight away. So this is called If Cats Disappeared from the World, and this is from the lovely people at Picador, so thank you very much. And it's written by Genki Karamura. I think I've pronounced that right. Let's hope I have. This book came out in 2012. It's translated from the Japanese into English, and it came out in Japan in 2012. It's due to be released in the UK on September the 20th, and it sold 1.3 million copies in Japan, so it's been a huge success over there. I've finished it already. It's only a thin book. It's just under 200 pages. It's really, really good. It's about a guy that lives alone. He's estranged from his family. And sorry to make this a bit of a wrap up as well. Let me read you the blurb, and then I can give you essentially from a reader's point of view in the wrap up. So the blurb says, this young man's days are numbered, estranged from his family, living alone with just his cat Cabbage for company. He is unprepared for the doctor's diagnosis that he only has months to live. But before he can set about tackling his bucket list, the devil appears with a special offer. In exchange for making one thing in the world disappear, he can have an extra day of life. And so begins a very bizarre week. Because how do you decide what makes life worth living? How can you separate out what you can do without from what you hold dear? In dealing with the devil, our narrator will take himself and his beloved cat to the brink. If Cat Disappeared from the World is a beautifully moving tale of loss and reconciliation of one man's journey to discover what really matters in modern life. Yeah, I really, really liked it. It was one of those books that I didn't know all the way through. I thought, I'm going to 5-star this. I'm going to 5-star this. In the end, I gave it 4.5. So, not quite, but it really has stuck in my mind. It's a really, really good book. And did I tell you when it was out? I think I did. It's out 20th of September. So that's If Cats Disappeared from the World by Genki Karamura, published by Picador. On to a couple of new books. We had a mad day on Sunday. We was out shopping, and then we ended up, at the end of the day, we went to have lunch somewhere. We'd been shopping in Sevenoaks in the morning at the Oxfam bookstore. Then we went and did a bit more shopping. You don't really need to know this. I'm going off on a bit of a tangent. But anyway, so at the end of the day, we ended up in Waterstones, where, annoyingly, very annoyingly, some ex-footballer or soccer player from wherever in the world you're watching this, we call them footballers, but you will know them as soccer players. An ex-soccer player was signing copies of his new book, all about how to be a soccer player, and they'd cordoned off, they'd roped off the fiction section in Waterstones. So everyone that was there so you couldn't enter the fiction section. You could enter the new hardbacks and the new bit. You couldn't enter the fiction section, and I wanted to look at, there were so many things I wanted to look at, but I couldn't, because they were having this signing, but right in the way of the main fiction section. Terrible, terrible planning from Waterstones. And I've come across it before. I do wish they wouldn't do it. I know they've got to put these people somewhere, but this guy wasn't drawing much of a queue. But yeah, it was really, really annoying the way they just roped off this bit for this footballer. But I could get to the hardbacks, and I could get to the rest of the shop. So I ended up buying Kate Atkinson's transcription, which annoyingly as well I've de-stickered and it's left this smudge. I might have to get some Goo Gone on that. The blurb on this says, think of it as an adventure. Perry had said right in the beginning of all this, and it had seemed like one, a bit of a lark, she had thought, a girl's own adventure. In 1940, 18-year-old Julia Armstrong is reluctantly recruited into the world of espionage. Sent to an obscure department of MI5 tasked with monitoring the comings and goings of British fascist sympathisers. She discovers the work to be by turns both tedious and terrifying. But after the war has ended, she presumes the events of those years have been relegated to the past forever. 10 years later, now a producer at the BBC, Julia is unexpectedly confronted by figures from her past. That sounds absolutely brilliant. That is going on my TBR for October for sure. What else did I buy that was new? I did get, I got one of the, I got this. Now, I'd seen this on Charles Heathcote's Twitter feed, and I thought, oh, bit of cover porn. I do love me a bit of cover porn. Look at this. Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's really nice, isn't it? The Poisoned Bed by E.C. Fremantle, an author that I've never read before. This is published by Penguin Michael Joseph. And as I was queuing for this at the till, I thought, I better read the blurb to see if it's my kind of thing, because I'd just seen it and I thought, I'm having that. I just saw the cover and I thought, I'm such an easy sell for publishing marketing gurus watching. If there are any watching, I'm just presuming. But I am such an easy sell. If you design a cover like this, I'm going to buy it. I don't care what the thing's about. Autumn 1615. Celebrated couple Robert and Frances Carr are imprisoned on suspicion of murder. She has been rescued from an abusive marriage by Robert and is determined to make a new life for herself, whatever the price. He has risen from nothing to become one of the country's most powerful men. Excuse me. But to get to the top, you cannot help making enemies. Now a man is dead and someone must pay with their life. Francis knows the truth can kill. Robert knows a lie can set you free. Neither understands their marriage is a poisoned bed. So I might TBR that for October as well. The October TBR is already piling up. Now, a couple of second-hand books that I got in the brilliant Oxfam bookshop in Sevenoaks. I got Exit West in hardback because I missed it last year. I missed buying it last year when it was shortlisted for the Booker Prize, and I've heard such good things about it. I wanted to read it myself. I'm not going to blurb you with that one. Because I'm sure you know what Exit West is about. What else did I get? I got We Are All Completely Beside Ourselves by Karen Joy Fowler. This is published by Serpent's Tail. I've wanted this for ages and ages and ages, and it was on my wish list. So I really wanted this one for ages. As a child, Rosemary never stopped talking. So why, now she's a young woman at college, doesn't she talk very much? She used to have a sister, Fern, the same age as her, and an older brother she loved both fiercely. But they have vanished from her life for reasons she can't face, and no one could guess. Really wanted that, so I'm really pleased that I got a copy of that. Non-fiction wise, I've got, talking about Roald Dahl again, I found this. This is a really big, chunky biography of Roald Dahl. This is written by Donald Sturrock. This was published by Harper Press some years ago now. This is not a new book. It's not that old actually, 2010. And this is a lovely little first edition of it. So it just got me thinking with the books that Penguin sent me that I haven't read Roald Dahl since I was probably an early teenager. And I wanted to find out more about his life. So this is called Storyteller, The Life of Roald Dahl. So looking forward to getting into that. Also on Roald Dahl, I found this. This is called Kiss Kiss. And this is a novel. No, it isn't. It's 11 delicious, shocking stories from the master of the unpredictable. So 11 short stories there from Roald Dahl. Oh, an autobiography. Another autobiography here. No, that one was a biography. This is an autobiography. Rupert Everett. Who doesn't love it? I love Rupert Everett. I saw Rupert Everett in his latest film when we were in Wales about the life of Oscar Wilde post Reading Jail, and Rupert Everett was absolutely amazing in this film. And I've been fascinated with his life for a little while, as I have been Oscar Wilde's. And so this is Red Carpets and Other Banana Skins, Rupert Everett's autobiography. Now, I think this is the second. I think he's published 2 volumes of autobiography. This is either the first or the second one. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. That's one for non-fiction November, I think. Although I'm not doing 100% non-fiction in non-fiction November because I did it last year and it bloody killed me. I was gagging for a novel by the end of it. So I might do half and half. I might do a half non-fiction split and a half fiction, but we'll see nearer the time. Next I have this is an interesting little book. This is from Somerset Maugham, a writer's notebook. Nothing yet printed is so revealing of the man who was Maugham as this, his own distillation from the journal he kept from 1892 until his retirement in 1949. There is a fascinating glimpse into the life and mind of the man who wrote some of the greatest novels and short stories of the last century. Fantastic. I love little books like that. The next one, I've got a couple of these because there's a film out. There's the Patrick Melrose novels from Edward St Alban. There's a film out with I'm trying to think of the actor's name. The actor's name has gone. Guy who plays Sherlock. Oh my God. What is his name? It's Benedict Cumberbatch, of course it is. In a new film advertised recently, based around the novels featuring this Patrick Melrose character. And I've never read any of these books, but I keep on hearing people that have read them and absolutely loved them. Now, I read an Edward St Alban novel earlier in the year and I pretty much hated it. But apparently, what I hear on the grapevine, on the bookie vine, is that the Patrick Melrose novels are very good. If you've read the Patrick Melrose novels, do I have to read them in order? Because here I have At Last, and also I have Mother's Milk, which is the 4th, and this one is the 5th Patrick Melrose novel. Now, do I have to read them in order? I'm assuming that but I'm not quite sure. So if you could kindly let me know, I'll have to go and try and find the other 3. And the last book, but by no means the lightest book. I've had a copy of this novel before. I'll show you what it is. It's A Suitable Boy by Vikram Seth. It is a chunkster. It's huge. This book is huge. It's just under, I believe, 1,500 pages. It's huge. It's one of those, I think this is one of those rainy day novels, and it's supposed to be, for a big novel, This is supposed to be amazing. And I remember this from years ago. I tweeted Simon Savage about this when I found it in a bookshop somewhere on the south coast back in 2013, because Simon had just written a blog post about, I think it was called 40 to read before you're 40 or 30 to read before you're 30. It was years ago. This book appeared on that list and I found it in a little bookshop years ago and then lent it to someone and never got it back. I've learnt my lesson now. But I found another copy of it, so I don't think Simon ever got to reading it. I don't know how long it's going to sit on my shelf. Yes, I know it's going to take up a little bit of space, but I do really want to get to it because I've heard so many good things. That was the book haul for, I think then, what month are we in? September. That is it. Whatever you are doing this week, enjoy your books. I'm going to be back tomorrow with another video about Roald Dahl. So I'll see you then. Whatever you're doing in the next 12 hours, enjoy your books. And I'll see you back here tomorrow for another BookTube video. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.